Lord, prepare to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Open my eyes, illumine me. Open my eyes, illumine me. I just want to thank you for giving me this life. I just want to thank you for giving me this life. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you.
the President of the Board of Unity Church in Albany. Thank you. Would you please join together with me to recite the mission and vision statement of Unity Church? The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And the vision is: we celebrate oneness with spirit and with the divine nature of all. I will change the order today just to see how it goes. And instead of doing the prayer first, I'm going to say the announcements first. So if there are any prayer chaplains here today, could you stand up to be recognized? So we have Dennis and Jack. They're wonderful to play with after the service. We have been asking people who stay around chatting if they could do it in the front so that the people can pray on the back and create sacred space that way. We have flowers here today, and they are from a mystery gifter. We don't know.
Peter. Evan said it's from Peter.
Oh, there we go. They are from Peter. Thank you, Peter. We welcome our guest speaker and musician, Debra. Thank you. We're still seeking volunteer angels needed for our Tour of Love Saturday, August 31st, when 55 Tibetan bowls will fill the sanctuary and angels will assist with bowl playing, applying essential oils, passing out chocolates, and collecting dollars. This event is dependent on having enough hands to help pull it off. Sign up with a pink sheet in the lobby. So, yeah, I was going to ask, who do we talk to? But there must be something to fill in at the lobby. We are asking congregants to please search their hearts for a chance to serve as a host for our upcoming guest performer, Charlie Tweet. We need somebody for 2 nights, Saturday, August 17th and 18th. Who do we talk to? Please talk to Nina. And a reminder that during the summer, the one song service is on hiatus. It will restart the second Sunday of September with a special concert scheduled for Sunday, August 18 with Charlie Tweets. And we are still looking for volunteers for several positions. We need somebody for audio video. Please contact Terry Bailey. Gardens, summer upkeep for our front and back gardens. Please contact Sam House. Hospitality, contact Gretchen North. Social activities, contact Fred Effelbaum. Youth and family ministry, for those who signed up to be volunteers teachers, thank you for returning your application for the August 10th orientation and training. That's going to happen between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it will be led by Trudy Ellis and Reverend Kristen. Volunteers are still needed and welcome.
So,
You can go here. You can go that way.
I can go this way. So, really quickly, it's been brought to my attention, and I should know this because I used to be a youth and family minister teacher, that there's a lot of reservations about people going, well, you know, that's a nice idea, and I would probably want to volunteer for youth and family ministry, but I'm not a teacher, and I don't know what to do, and so you back off. And so this is a quick, I was going to say plea, but I don't plea. It's just a quick thought that it's easy. It is breezy because our beloved youth and family ministry volunteer does all the hard work. She does all the organizing. She puts the curriculum together, and all you do, you get handed this beautiful curriculum with choices. And so all you need to do, hopefully if we get enough people, is to show up once a month with your handy-dandy curriculum, of which you've picked out several elements which are suited for your teaching style, which everyone has a great teaching style. So, if you have a call, don't allow any sort of fear or reservation to stop you from saying yes. Truly, you will be supported. Trudy will be there as the organizer to support. You have other teachers who have been there for a long time to help train. So please, step forward. It's not too late. Thank you.
All you need is love, right?
All you need is
There's also an announcement about Dennis Book Club.
I am Dennis Ryan. I'm a prayer chaplain. And if I may make just one editorial statement, way back in the days of the dinosaurs, when I accepted a job installing computer systems, I was scared to death about the teaching aspect of that job. But I liked my job so much that I quickly found myself being claimed the best teacher in the organization. You have it within you.
In the book club?
On Tuesdays at 10:30, at 10 to 11:30, a group of us gather to study metaphysical books. And we're going to be studying A Closer Walk with God by Jim Rosemurgy, and we're starting on Tuesday, August 13th. So come by anytime. You can come by this week and we'll talk about a different book. Come by after August 13th and we'll be talking about Jim Rosemurgy. Thank you.
And a reminder that our own Pete is conducting a summer drummers event. So these are happening Sundays at 11:45 right here at Unity. It's in the sanctuary. All right. So it says here, news from the board, but it's not so news anymore because we have been installed it. For example, the new mission and vision statements, the new welcome statement that you can see in your bulletin. All have been achieved with your input, and we are working on the amount of bulletins that we are printing. From the town hall, we've decided on a reduced number of bulletins, but we also are hearing that people really, really, really want those bulletins, so more changes coming. The service part of the information that is on the bulletin now is printed and laminated and is in the pews in front of you, so that, thank you, so that you can have access. So, you know, you don't have to take the bulletin, you can only take the information part of the bulletin, and you certainly will make more copies of that available. And with that, I return to the prayer for the meeting. So, one more announcement, which is part of this. This week is Peace Week. It was the first Peace Week in Albany that started yesterday with the Albany Peace Project. The Peace Project goes all throughout the whole week, and we are asking people to please participate if you haven't already signed up, and please meditate with us every day. There's going to be a meditation today here. I guess it's going to have to be in the garden room at noon. So because the theme is peace, yesterday at the opening there was a long list of things that were not peace, a very short piece about what is peace. So somehow we are not so familiar about what brings us to peace. And we're always left astray with worries of this and that, concerns, anxiety, and so forth. But when we read the scripture says, cast your cares on the Lord. Or the Course in Miracles says, ask for help from the Holy Spirit. We have to learn to turn all our messes, all our worries, all our problems over to God. We were not designed to carry a heavy load. When we do, it frustrates us. And here is the key. When you rest, God goes to work. But when you work, God rests. If you try to be God, God will step back and say, okay, you figure it out. You handle it all, and I'll take a break. But when you come back to a place of peace and say, God, I trust you. My life is in your hands. I am not going to worry. I am not going to live stressed. You have all this figured out, so I am going to be still and know that you are God. And that's when God goes to work and you can enjoy living life in peace. And guess what? The daily word for today. No, it was inner peace, but that was for July 28th, so turn page. And today, in alignment with our request in our announcement, the word is service. I look for opportunities to serve. I make a point of developing my spiritual life. I read and study. I pray and meditate. I am part of a spiritual community. But the spiritual understanding doesn't come for much unless I put it into action. So I look for ways to serve. Any act of kindness is a form of service. It might be volunteering to help the poor, but it also could be mowing a neighbor's lawn, letting someone ahead in the grocery line, or carpooling with children. Service ranges from full-time caregiving to something as simple as listening. Anything I do to make it a little easier for another is service. And I see opportunities to serve as soon as I look for them. Service is a spiritual practice. Like good stewards of the manifold grace of God, serve one another with whatever gift each of you has received. 1 Peter 4:10. Back to Roger.
My feet are strong, my eyes are clear. I cannot see the way from here, but on we go. You know the way, and in your arms you keep me safe. Fear not. Keep on. in the light of God's highway. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray. Walk in the light of God's highway.
Welcome. Excuse me. Welcome to Unity Church in Albany, where we always love to affirm that this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Truly, the sun is shining. One of the air conditioners are working. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So yes. So thank you very much for coming. I'm Reverend Crystal Muldrow, and we are so happy to have you here. You are a blessing to us. Is there anyone here for the very first time? Please make yourself known. This gentleman right here. Anyone else? We'd love to gift you. So truly welcome all. We see some new faces. We see some familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while. Everyone is welcome. And how apropos that you are here today, because it's the first Sunday of the month, which means it's, yes, Kevin Helm is downstairs. You can probably smell the deliciousness happening. So yes, I would like to say it's because of our guest speaker, Debra, being here, but it's every month. So please, join us downstairs. Delight with us in food and drink. We would be honored that you would join us. And speaking of Debra, so I heard when it was announced, Debra is our guest speaker and musician, and it was like a what? And so I have to apologize because it was brought to my attention only last Sunday that a commitment that was made by me and Debra last year for her to speak in August was not met. So I am so thankful, especially when she reminded me what her talk is about. Her talk is about, do you really realize or wonder when your affirmations aren't working what's really going on? Haven't we all wondered about that? Well, Debra, as a licensed psychotherapist, really can tell us about the brain work and how we just need to do a little bit of a tweak to make sure that we can accept the truth of our being. And so it was truly, I think that's a truly important message for us to listen to and hear about. And so she very thankfully had today open. And so I said, you are in. If you're ready, we're ready. So sorry that there was no advertisement for her, and we are so thankful that you could still be here as musician, as well as our guest speaker today. So, yeah. And so with that, let us let's welcome one another, and then after that, we're going to say our statement of oneness. And so, let us say our statement of oneness together. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe. That one is God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. Amen. So let us take this moment also, besides the beautiful prayer chaplains that we have waiting to pray with you at any and all moments, know that in the pew holder in front of you our prayer request forms. We are so honored to have you be able to fill those out. You can place them in the wooden box. Thank you, Sue. And the back is showing us the various colors, as well as lovely Lois. You can place it in the wooden box on the wooden table, or on the back of your bulletin, or in your pew holder in the back, not the pew holder, but the, what do we call those things? Information laminated thing for the bulletin. You also, thank you, Lois, have information as to where you can have your prayers go. And Dennis Ryan, our prayer team lead, will gather all that information and send it out to our prayer team. And after that, they get sent to Silent Unity, where they pray an additional year. So let us relax, let go, and prepare ourselves for meditation, and welcome our guest speaker, Debra Berger.
Love is the voice under all the silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, mere force is feebleness, the truth more first than sun, the truth more last than star. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Love is the voice under all the silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, mere force is feebleness, the truth more first than sun, the truth more last than star. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice. Follow the voice. Follow the voice of love. Follow the voice. Follow the voice. Follow the voice of love. So I invite you to get comfortable, close your eyes, and rest in that idea that you follow the voice of love. So much easier to hear when we're quiet. So we take this time beyond our regular chatter, feel the quietness, and feel that love inside. A relaxed body, a relaxed mind can feel that even more deeply. So I ask now to bring your attention to your feet, those sweet little toes connected to those wonderful feet that do so much good for you every day. And tighten those feet really hard. And then release them. And bring that attention up through your legs, through your calf muscles. Tense them. Release them. And notice how that relaxation is felt after you've tensed. That release. So move now to your thighs. Tense them, release them, and send them love. They're so good to us, and sometimes we get so mad at them for not looking the way they're supposed to. Send love to those sweet thighs that keep you standing and moving, and connect you. Tense them, release them. Feel that relaxation now throughout your legs. And move up to the center of your body. Tense that area. Release it. And feel that calm in the center of your body, your tummy, your butt, your genitals, everything. Feel that relaxation. They're yours. This body belongs to you. Feel the love in your body. Onto your waist and your chest. Tense it. Release it. Your arms, tops of your arms, your elbows, your hands, those beautiful fingers. I thank you, my fingers, for all you do for me. Oh, tighten, tighten, tighten. Release. Onto your shoulders. So much tension we keep in our shoulders. Lift them, tense them. Release them. And yes, the neck next. Beautiful neck that keeps my head on my shoulders. I love you. Tense that neck. Release it. And move right onto your head. That place where we carry so much data. Tense it, release it, give it a chance to rest. Busy, busy, busy head, let it rest. And now we're free. We're free to feel who we really are. That fear that keeps us locked up is released. And we have a relaxed body that can feel who we are. And in that relaxed state, we're going to sing to you. Sing with us. Let yourself be sung to. You choose. Love is the voice under all the silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, mere force is feebleness, the truth more first than sight, the truth more last than start. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. Follow the voice, follow the voice, follow the voice of love. So I co-wrote that song with E.E. Cummings. And I just am so awed when something that we believe here, that we teach, that we practice gets echoed in other places. And here's E.E. Cummings knowing that that love under the silence, when we peel away the layers, that love is the truest thing. That's the truth we want to have guide us. And we have to Karina's point, we have to be quiet and stop trying so hard to be able to connect with that. then we can act, then we'll be guided on how to work with that love, that deepest truth. But we need to be quiet. We need other things too. I need to come here. Last week, when Reverend Crystal was on fire talking about the truth of who we really are, and that choir got up here, I'm emotional to say this, and when "This is me," I felt such power. I felt such love here. And that's really why I come. I think I come because I need that fueled, and I think that's true for a lot of us. We hear smart thoughts here. Smart thoughts are good, but that's not, for me, what fuels me to bring that truth into the rest of my life. In fact, recently my mother died. My partner's mother died 6 days later. And it was a very, very hard time, and I felt so overwhelmed. And I did just what Karina's talking about. I said, I can't do all of this. God, please take care of me. And in that moment, I felt it. And I felt it through the rest of the process. That's what we're after. We're after letting that part of us lead the way. It's not always easy to do. Bless you. The title of my talk today is Overcoming the Lies, because I think one of the things that happens is we have this experience, we're good, we leave here fueled and fired, and then one lie after another comes our way about how hopeless the world is, of how unworthy we are, and it's hard not to be overcome by that. Lao Tzu, who actually lived in the 6th century BC, that's a long time ago. He's the founder of Taoism. He said this, every human being's essential nature is perfect and faultless. But after years of immersion in the world, we easily forget our roots and take on a counterfeit nature. That was in the 6th century BC. You know, we think it's a modern phenomenon that, you know, in our world we forget who we are. But this sounds like we've been battling with that, struggling with that, working with that for centuries. Today, brain science is exploring how to explain all of this. And I am very excited about the intersections between science and spirituality. No longer do we have to choose whether to believe in science or spirituality. Many, many ways, and in particular in brain science, a lot of what we know spiritually is now validated. We have real hardcore evidence for some of what Unity's been teaching, and other spiritual perspectives have been teaching for generations. So I'm going to talk about some of those interplays, and I'm actually going to talk about how we can use these ideas to connect more, as our mission statement says, to our divine essence. Here's a really interesting thing. If you imagine something, your brain takes it in as if it's already happened. I didn't know that. Isn't that interesting? We've said things like that in Unity, but it's actually true. Your brain thinks it happened. So if you're worried, that your kid is out late and maybe they're going to be in a car accident, or maybe some terrible thing is going to happen, your brain takes that in like it already happened. And worse, after that, it begins to collect evidence to support that belief. Once you believe something, your brain is scanning the environment to actually prove that that's the truth. That's part of why it's so hard, because it gets like a double whammy. However, on the other hand, many of you work with creative visualization through the years. It was a famous book, and a lot of us were working with that for a while. Well, it turns out that's true too. If I imagine that I'm loved, that I'm supported, that I'm cared about, my brain's taking that in like it happened. And I'm scanning the environment for proof of that. So this actually mirrors very famous unity phrase, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, right? We know that, and yay, now neuroscience is showing us that's exactly what happens. So if we want to work with that, it's helpful to know that. So of course you're going to imagine something awful sometimes. We're human, we do that. But if as you're imagining it, you're aware of it and you say, that's not the truth, that hasn't really happened, you're helping your brain not to take it in as truth. You can work with that. Also, when you have a thought like that just to say, do I know for sure that that's true? Just to challenge that begins to disconnect that neural pathway and maybe even start a new one. Also, this is no surprise to anybody, but neuroscience actually explains how this works. The things you were told about when you were a kid, told about yourself, actually then become hardwired. So you have a hardwired neural pathway that reflects what you were told about when you were a kid. That doesn't surprise anybody, right? No. And it's not enough simply to say, well, that's not the truth. You've got to be able to work with that because that's really stuck in there. You have to work with that more aggressively. Pardon the word, but I think it's more aggressively if you want to be able to work with that, if you want to be able to change that. So I'm going to hearken us back to what we did during meditation. In order for us to be able to rewire those neural pathways, we need to find relaxation in our bodies. We could do that in a lot of different ways. Exercise, meditation, yoga, the kind of exercise I went through with you, that tense and release, that body scan. There are a lot of ways you can do that. And the more time you spend in a relaxed body, the less likely your amygdala, this part of your brain, is going to get triggered. Once that gets activated, you're in trouble because all that part of your brain knows is fight, flight, fight, flight. I don't know about you, but good decision making doesn't come out of that for me. So we want to be able to disengage that amygdala and make room for the frontal lobe, which is actually the logical, rational part of your brain. So how do we do that? We need a relaxed muscle body. And then we need that question. Is that true? Or we need right here, and this is another echo to spiritual teaching, right here, right now, I'm safe. Is there any danger right here, right now? And when we ask that question, guess what? The frontal lobe will answer it. because you've now released your frontal lobe and you're allowing it in the process. That makes sense? So we want to be able to work with that so that we can start to free ourselves from that difficult, painful, tight, stiff, cemented belief system that holds so many of us captive. Here's the really good news. There's something called positive neuroplasticity. Isn't that cool? That says that as we do the things I'm talking about, which include affirmations, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, includes affirmative thinking, it includes meditation, it includes yoga. As we do these practices, we're actually able to change the brain. The brain looks different in a meditator than it looks in a person who doesn't meditate. We have power to change this if we know how to work with it. Anything that cultivates relaxation will help us to be less likely to be dominated by the amygdala and more likely to have access to our frontal lobe. So, on to affirmations. The more relaxed we are, the more able we are to utilize those positive affirmations. But here's the thing. If you tell yourself something that's so different from what you already believe, your brain's gonna fight it. Let's say you're physically ill and you tell yourself, I am perfectly healthy. And this may work for some people. You know, this is very, very personal. You've got to find out what works for you. If that were me, that wouldn't work. I would start arguing with that affirmation. I would start saying, but I don't feel well. And then it actually backfires, because in that fight, you have now deepened the neural pathway that says I'm not well. We don't want to do that. So this is how I work with it. What can I say that's not going to create that fight? I can say there's health and wellness in me that I want to connect with. I'm less likely to fight that. That feels truer to me. It doesn't mean you have to only agree, use affirmations you 100% agree with. That's not the point, because then you'll never change. But to do it like a few notches more than what you believe, you're more likely to take it in, and it's more likely to be usable for you. Same thing with denials. So if I say, someone's unkind words have no power to hurt me. For me, it doesn't feel true, because you could hurt my feelings. Most of you could hurt my feelings if you wanted, or even accidentally, you say something and it might hurt my feelings. I'm going to fight that one. But if I say my hurt feelings have no power to thwart me, to undermine me, then I can embrace that. So this is a really important practice to work on how to use affirmations in denials in a way that isn't going to create that conflict in you, and a way that can actually move you into believing the truth about yourself. So, today, I have an affirmation and a denial for you. And I invite you, I'm going to say it how it is, I invite you to work with it and see if you can make it your own. See if there's any fight. See how you might need to soften it. Maybe you need to strengthen it. Because we're all at different places. We've all had different backgrounds, and we've got to work with what we are. That was why I loved that song last week. Because it was like, this is me. I've got to work with this, not someone else's idea of how I need to be a proper spiritual person. So the first one is, fear and loathing have no power over me. Say that with me. Fear and loathing have no power over me. Now for me that works. Maybe for somebody else, the fear and loathing is too much gripping you and you need to figure out another way to work with that. But that's the first one. The second, and I'm using our mission statement too, I accept the truth of my divine essence. Can we do that together? I accept the truth of my divine essence. Okay, so that means to me that I believe there's goodness in me, and that this goodness is connected to all of the goodness in the universe. That's what that means. I'm not saying everyone believes that at all times, but I can work with that belief. And I invite you to play with that and to think about what affirmations you can use in your life that will actually move you forward. It made me think about one of my favorite poems, certainly perhaps, she's one of my favorite poets, and that's Mary Oliver. And she talks about this. It's called When I Am Among the Trees. I'd like to share that with you because it's a way of getting to that connection with one's divine essence, even when you're not already feeling it. So, when I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness, I would almost say they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves. They call out and say, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. And this, that's the end of the poem, this is who we really are. To overcome the lies we tell ourselves, we need to identify what helps us feel the truth. A morning in church, time in nature, a song, a poem, a hug, whatever it is for you, I am offering you the opportunity to find that, to work with it, to notice it, to proclaim it when you see it. That's another way to change that neural pathway. This is it. So we're going to sing you another song. This was based on Gandhi's favorite song. I modified it for us. And I ask you to sing it. And while we sing it together, remember that you're claiming that you are like God, that I am like God, is a way to be able to anchor into that experience of your divine essence. So please join us. You know, I just have to say, you guys, I love you all so much. And I feel so appreciated here and so loved. Applause is wonderful, but I just want to let you all know I feel it whether you applaud or not. So. So many things here. Okay. I also want to give special thanks right now for Julia and how her viola really helps our music sound so much more beautiful. Thank you to Julia. And everybody here. When you share another's sorrow and feel another's pain, and your pride cannot distort your sight and lead you to disdain. You are like God. You are like God. You are like God. God is in your soul. When you see the common thread that ties you to the poor, and you grieve for all the casualties of war. You are like God. You are like God. You are like God. God is in your soul. When you speak with deep respect and your tongue cannot tell lies, and you seek only the riches that money never buys. You are like God. You are like God. You are like God. God is in your soul. Then you lift your generation to the highest light of all. With every moment spent listening to the Spirit's call. You are like God. You are like God. You are like God. God is in your soul. Sing, I am like God. I am like God. I am like God. I am like God. God is in my soul. God is in my soul.
So I think I can read energy in the room. Cindy, can you put the last slide back up again? Yeah, I felt it when we said I, made it personal, right? So can we say that a couple more times? I am like God. I am like God. I am like God. God is in my soul. And breathe that in some more. And as Debra said, that if you can't really feel that immediately, alter it, that affirmation, in steps that are digestible for you, so that you can know it even deeper. Thank you, Debra Berger. Thank you very much for awesome talk. And so with that, it is time for our offering. And as you make your offering known to you, I like to place it to the hearts. And let us say our offertory statement together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen.
Break the wine glass, fall into the glass blower's breath. Break the boundaries that used to keep you small. Break the silence, fall into the breath of the sound. Break the patterns, fall to your knees on the ground. And on the way you might notice a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. Along the way you might notice the power you have to walk your talk and dance into your dreaming. Walk the garden, glimpse the world through the gardener's eye. Has your heart hardened? Is there no room left for surprise? Break it open, scatter the seeds of surrender. Water them well, do your best to protect the tender. And on the way you might notice a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. Along the way you might notice the power you have to walk your talk and dance into your dreaming. Your greatest weaknesses are all so your greatest strength, your greatest failures may just have been heaven sent. Will the wind break you or lift you up off of the ground? Will the wind break you or merely bow you down? Along the way you might notice a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. Along the way you might notice the power you have to walk your talk and dance into your dreaming. On the way you might notice a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. Along the way you might notice the power you have to walk your talk and dance into your dreaming. Break the wine glass, fall into the breath of the glass blower. Okay. I think we're ready to stand and do a closing song. Let's take the energy of this service today, of the words we've heard and the prayers that we've shared and the energy of the song, and send it out to El Paso, Texas, and to Dayton, Ohio this morning. So here we go.
beautiful child in the back. We have children all around us. Let's say our affirmation for our children. Children.
We love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you.